Ladies and gentlemen, welcome into the Varsity Sports Network. We're coming to you live for Gators Dockside in downtown Baldwin Park. I'm B.A. This is the coach, Kyle Hayes, along with Balin Trujillo, and you're watching the Central Florida Huddle. And welcome back in once again to the Central Florida Huddle right here on the Varsity Sports Network. I'm Bobby Allen along with the coach, Kyle Hayes. You can check him out at CoachHayesFootball.com along with Balin Trujillo, B-True's quarterback training and B-True's advanced quarterback camp. We appreciate everybody tuning in for week 3 of the high school football season, episode 4 here on the Central Florida Huddle. Big thanks to Gators Dockside here in Baldwin Park for the great hospitality, and also to our sponsor for tonight's episode, Tommy Dyer with Keller Williams. If you have any real estate needs, check out Tommy. He's going to be a great supporter of Varsity Sports Network, and you're going to see a lot of Tommy during basketball season as he had a basketball career for a big college in the SEC. We'll get to talk to him a little bit later. But, guys, another week in the books. Anything stick out to you guys as far as surprises or anything that you didn't anticipate coming in here?
Surprises? No surprises. I think we find out exactly what Popka is. I think that they are in a rebuilding year. Unfortunately for them, they're usually like the standard. But we see that, coaching does play a big part in that. I think that, Coach Rolson has a great staff, but right now I think that with the transfers and what they've lost in the previous years, I think this is a rebuilding year for Popka as well as Dr. Phillips. I was really shocked to see them lose to Timber Creek. I mean, I did not see that coming. We did not predict that game last week, but if we did, I would have picked Dr. Phillips. But, yeah, they look like they're struggling everywhere, and I think that they need to find an identity first and figure out what they need to do inside and out to really get back on track, because they got some tough games, including a Popka this week. So those are pretty much the two kind of shockers for me in a way, even though we did pick West Orange to win that football game last week. I just think that Apopka, for whatever the reason, I just don't think they have what it takes right now, and I think they're just searching for their identity.
Yeah, definitely, man. We had some teams catch flight, man, and they left Central Florida and went out, and we had some guys that won and some guys that lost, and we'll definitely delve deep into that as the show goes on. But, we're back here, BA, again. Week 4 of this deal, week 3 of football, but week 4 of this with the kickoff classic.
Listen, let's get right into it. Balin, you talked about, or Coach, you talked about some of the teams taking flight, and Balin Jones, who is close to your heart, took a trip to Duncanville, Texas. Yeah,
one thing about Coach Elijah Williams, he's not afraid of competition, so he goes out to Duncanville against the number 15 team in the country. Really did some good things in the first half. I watched the first half online. It was 17-13 going into halftime. Actually, Jones had the lead for a little bit there, and it really showcased the speed that we have here in Florida compared to Texas, which is known more for size, just kind of like Georgia. But we really saw the speed in the first half, and then all of a sudden, through injuries and through cramping, you saw Texas kind of pull away there at the end. The fourth quarter was a big quarter for Duncanville, and they pulled away, ended up beating Jones by 24 points. But the crazy part about this stat, which is interesting, the rankings came out this week. They actually went up 13 spots nationally, Jones did, by placing Duncanville on their schedule. So it does show you that when you play competition, regardless of the score, it does give you points based off that. But, yeah, Jones High School, like I mentioned before, definitely one of the best area teams, no doubt about it. Again, 17-13 at halftime. Coach Elijah Williams knows how to coach, and he needs this for later on. This game's going to matter later on when they play competition, as we call tough, in the playoffs here in the state of Florida. Hopefully playing a team like Duncanville is going to give them confidence moving forward, especially at the quarterback position, which has been a really weakness for them. But he played pretty well against a team like this. So I'm really interested to see how Jones moves forward, especially with the bye week going into Edgewater next week.
Yeah, absolutely.
Jones has never lost 2 games back-to-back, so we'll see how they respond next week against Edgewater.
And Kyle, another team that took flight, the Eagles of Edgewater left their nest, and they traveled up to New Jersey to take on Don Bosco Prep. A very interesting matchup. Teams traveling these extended miles to play national competition.
Yeah, and the national competition is huge, right? Because people want that national ranking.
Sure.
And so these top programs are taking flight. They're going into these programs. The IE Central that went into IMG to kind of get these national rankings, had opportunity to knock them off. We're talking about Edgewater here, one of the Central Florida powerhouses, takes flight, goes to Don Bosco. in New Jersey, knocks them off with big Cedric Baxter.
Spanks them.
In four, we trust, as he said on his commitment video. And a big shout out to Destroying. For people that don't know, I had a chance to see it. But look, the guy was up there. He does a Friday Night Light show, and he showcased those guys, man. But Edgewater, again, spanked them 34-10. They just looked outmatched, man. They were just overpowering. And statistically, they had 72 yards passing there for Edgewater.
Guys, look at the rushing yards.
But again, the rushing yards, right?
489 rushing yards.
489. With one turnover in a rainy situation, right? Looked a little drizzly out there. But on the flip side, Don Bosco puts up 241 passing and 120 yards rushing. So it goes to show you the strength of both teams in that sense. But listen, in 4 Day Trust, they put it on the ground.
Absolutely.
He put the team on his back, crossed
Cedric
the goal line
Baxter's
several times, and made it happen.
If folks here in our listening area that follow the Central Florida Huddle have not seen Cedric Baxter put the pads on and play on a Friday night, you need to make arrangements because this kid's legit, and they're getting a good one.
Yeah,
That's the next level.
Texas has a lot of things excited about. I know he was at the Florida game this week, but he's definitely a Longhorn. I talked to him a couple weeks ago, and he's all in with the Longhorn. So they got something special coming in. But, yeah, Don Bosco Prep, they had a better chance in warm-ups than they did in the game. So,
absolutely.
Yeah, that was a blowout.
Let's get into some of the games that happened around the Central Florida area in our coverage area this past Friday and Thursday nights. Let's start with Eustis making the trip over to Lake Mineola. And, guys, I had the pleasure of calling this game. And this was lopsided. It started very well for Lake Mineola and ended very well. They were very impressive. And I think for me, the most impressive part was their domination of the line of scrimmage, which allowed John Celestin to get involved from the running game. He is our dude of the week on this one. He's able to hit the end zone 4 times, and it was domination from start to finish. At halftime, we kind of wondered what adjustments Eustis might be able to make because they have athleticism, but it's plays like that, the fumble, the miscommunication in the backfield that allowed Lake Mineola outstanding field position on almost every possession in the second half, and you go out of there with the running clock.
Yeah, I'll just say this real quick, man. Coach Banks has done an extremely great job with this program. Taking it over, I want to say around 2015, so really in the past 7 years, already made a state championship appearance, didn't have an opportunity to pull it out against Miami Central, but think about it, just getting to the state is a big feat. Yeah. And what he's turned this program into, being in an area, like in Lake County, kind of isolated a little bit, but turning this in, finding the great players, and coming out dominating these kind of things, hats off to you, Coach Banks.
And another one, Balin, you'll like this, quarterback over there, Quinn Neiman, he had an outstanding night.
Really?
He was one of the most, probably one of the most impressive performances I've seen from a quarterback as far as control, poise, confidence, arm strength so far in this young season.
You know what? Lake Mineola, they have a big Twitter presence, and they reach out to our show a lot. And what I want to see them do is play powerhouses. Yes. I mean, they roll over Tavares, they roll over Eustis, they roll over Mount Dora. Like, okay, that's expected, especially when you see like plays like this and the trenches. They're much bigger than their opponents. But who do they really play throughout the year? I want to see big-time games for Lake Mineola to see if they're really who they are, because, again, we're going to keep seeing landslides like this week in and week out by playing Eustis and Mount Dora, and
agree.
It's just, when are they going to play the big players, like a Winter Park who's here tonight, like a Boone High School, like somebody that's going to actually give them a challenge. I would like to see that more from Lake Mineola, but until we see that, they're going to keep blowing by these guys out there, and yeah, look, plays like this, I mean, come on, this is ridiculous. It's too easy for those guys. And again, Coach Banks has done an amazing job. You don't go to state just by luck, right?
Sure.
But at the end of the day, we want to keep seeing Lake Mineola prove themselves to show why they are one of the powerhouses here in Central Florida.
That's a great point. As we were doing the game, Dan LaForest and I, we kind of kept asking ourselves, is Lake Mineola that good, or is Eustis rebuilding? And we really won't know until some of the season progresses. But, it was just a dominating performance. 4 TDs, 200-plus rushing yards for John Celestin. He put on a show.
Yeah, and I do have to say this, to Balin's point, right? If you want to be one of these teams that take it deep into the playoffs or definitely take it to the state championship, you have to get tested, right?
Absolutely.
You don't want to walk in there and your first test is the high school championship game. 9 times out of 10, you come out on the bad end of that stick. So you have to, your non-conference games, take some of those shots, not that kickoff classic. Take some of these shots in the game so the guys know what it feels like to be in those type of games.
Absolutely.
When it comes to it.
Also want to mention, Balin brought it up just a minute ago, we're going to be joined here in a little bit by some of the players and coaching staff for Winter Park. Their big matchup this weekend with Boone. Guys, y'all excited about Friday night? Love it, man. Great crowd here. This is just another awesome atmosphere here at Gators Dockside Baldwin Park. We want to give them a shout-out for all they do. Another local game that took place this weekend was OC University and the Lions of Oviedo. And again, guys, we saw another massive rushing performance.
Yep.
Yeah,
DJ Scott.
Yeah, I mean, Oviedo, they took the top off this deal, taking the thing off 35-7. That's another program, right, that has done a great job. Look at this long field goal here.
Yeah.
I mean, in high school, you rarely see that, right? Referees are waiting. Oh, and he just shorted that deal, man. So again, Oviedo takes this deal and go ahead and take it to the house. You see University struggle. They struggled in this deal over here, as you can see.
Look at the size difference.
Yeah, just a total size difference, man. And you can see that they are just a program that's been around for a very, very, very long time and established.
Yeah, Oviedo's well coached. Coach over there came from Boone High School. He's a very offensive-minded guy. He was a quarterback coach at Boone High School, and now he's putting up some points. Very impressive first week. They were down 21-7 to Lake Brantley. Ended up coming back and winning that football game 26-21, and then, of course, this blowout over Orange City. But the real test is this week. Again, Oviedo's another one of those sleepers that could break our top 10, but they do have a Lake Mary team this week that is ranked. So if they can put a performance like they did against Orange City, then they can kind of establish themselves as one of the better teams in this area. But again, a great win on Friday night. They did what they were supposed to do. They took care of business, and we'll see what they do this week. But like I said, look at the size difference here.
It's noticeable.
Yeah, it's definitely noticeable, and DJ Scott's definitely one of the best backs in the air. We talk about CJ Baxter. This kid right here is also pretty special. He's been there for a long time, and it's his senior year, so it's time for him to strap it up and make it happen. So Vito's looking to have a great year this year. But we'll see what they do in the meat of their schedule, and it starts this week against Lake Mary.
It does, and to reference, sports phrases, you got to take care of the ones you're supposed to.
Right.
Right? And with a performance like DJ Scott had, 30 carries, 309 yards, and 5 TDs. They're well on their way in a game like this to taking care of the business in front of them that they have to take care of in order to improve.
I tell people all the time, from a coaching perspective, you must win the games you're supposed to, and you got to fight for the games that are 50-50 deals,
100%.
right? And if you fight for those 50-50 deals, you definitely have an opportunity to take yourself deep in the playoffs. If not, into the I was going to say national championship, but into the high school championship, man. Yeah. So Oviedo knocks the University off 35-7, 2-0 versus 0-2. University will turn it around. Hopefully, they'll get it going. Sure. But Oviedo is definitely rocking and rolling.
100%. There's another nod to DJ Scott again. 30 carries, 309 on the ground, 5 TDs. Listen, I mean, that's just,
that might be the dude of Central Florida for the week.
Yeah.
Let me tell you something. 30 carries, and
that's a lot of carries.
You do what you have to do to win, but I do have to say that you got to watch pitch counts on some of these young men.
Sure.
That is a ton of carries early in the season, and you're going to want to keep that body fresh, even though those guys are a little bit undersized. Hits are hits, and they do accumulate over time, and you wear your guy down, and when you really need him in the big-time game, guess what? He's worn down.
Absolutely.
All right, and so you got to keep those legs and that body fresh.
What's, workload management. That's what they call it, but a big performance for Oviedo and DJ Scott for sure. Also, we were supposed to have a game on the Daytona Channel this past weekend, Palm Coast at Mainland. That game was rescheduled for the 19th due to bad weather, and obviously something living in Florida you have to deal with in the evening, so no surprise there, but they will get that game underway on the 19th, and we will have it here on the Varsity Sports Network. Once again, big shout-out to Tommy Dyer, our sponsor for tonight's show and Friday night's game broadcast from Winter Park with Keller Williams, the Dyer team. We appreciate his support. And here at Gators Dockside, just another awesome atmosphere to have a show like this. Got people stopping by, checking out what's going on. It's something different and unique, so we appreciate them as well for all their support of high school academics and athletics. We'll take a break. Back with more. You're watching the Central Florida Huddle.
Searching for meaning in a relentless world. Always connected, but somehow alone. Trapped by illusion. We offer another path where the battle to belong begins. Awakened by a calling. United by the cause you fight for. No one can take away what it means to be among the few, the proud, the Marines.
Marijuana can impair your ability to drive, and that affects much more than just you. Drive baked, get busted.
In sports, we wear all types of equipment to protect ourselves from injury. One of the most important, yet neglected parts of the body are the ankles.
Research shows that more than 30% of all sports injuries are ankle-related. Preventing an injury is key in any sport and applies to any job where you're on your feet all day as well.
Prevent Sprain socks were scientifically designed and engineered for support, stability, and performance.
Stay active with PreventSprainSocks.com.
For every generation, it has started with the call to serve. Discovering the purpose and the belonging earned with the title. Learning to dig deep and push through adversity together. Defending our nation and its people. It is a life of great worth and reward. But Marines are never really finished serving. Their commitment comes full circle, visible in communities across our country. This is Semper Fidelis, always faithful, always Marine, marking a path for the next generation.
The best part of my job is helping people realize not only their dreams, but also their potential. My name is Dan LaForest, and I am a wealth advisor with Security Financial Management. No matter how good you may be at a skill, it's always important to have a coach to help you refine those skills and game plan for the next challenge. Helping clients realize the process will give them the confidence of knowing that we have taken the appropriate steps to protect themselves and their families.
And we'll go back into the Varsity Sports Network Central Florida Huddle right here from Gators Dockside in beautiful Baldwin Park. I'm BA, Coach Kyle Hayes, Balin Trujillo, and we have a very special guest. This gentleman right here, I had the pleasure of getting to know the other day. He's a huge supporter of high school academics and athletics. Loved what he saw with the Central Florida Huddle and also a big game between Winter Park and Boone. Ladies and gentlemen, Tommy Dyer.
Thank you very much, BA. It's nice to see everybody tonight and happy to be involved with something so great, the support you guys have for the young people here in Central Florida.
Yep.
And high school football, man, it doesn't get any more pure and better than that. It's more exciting.
It's
great
exactly
to see the
right.
fellas here from Winter Park representing, so we're happy to be a part of it.
Listen, Tommy, I want to let people get to know who you are. Obviously, you're in real estate with Keller Williams, the Dyer team. But let's start with your love of sports. And you had the opportunity to play basketball at a high level in the SEC. Tell us about that.
Thank you very much. Again, I'm a resident of Orlando for almost 30 years now. We moved to the Lake Nona area. But lifelong sports guy.
Sure.
So played high school football. Maybe not at a high level as these guys, but was fortunate enough to play college basketball. I went to Auburn University, so War Eagle out there. I know you said you like Bama, so sorry about that.
Well,
so just sports at all levels. I have 3 kids, all 3 played sports down in the Lake Nona area. I have one right now who's in high school, and just know how important it is to the development of the young people out there, and especially high school football. It's just the ultimate team sport.
Sure.
And the lessons that you get as a youngster, working together as a team, literally getting up when you get knocked down, there's nothing better. So
life lessons.
We're honored to be a part of that.
Yeah, absolutely. And now let's segue over into the real estate. You know, I had the opportunity to have lunch with you the other day down in Lake Nona at Canvas. First time I had really,
great spot.
Jumped into Lake Nona. I've heard a lot about it. Heard it's one of the fastest growing, if not the fastest growing area in Central Florida. I was impressed, man.
Yep. A lot to be impressed.
It's wide open.
A lot going on down there.
A lot going on.
I mentioned my parents moved down there 30 years ago, and there was not that going on.
Yeah.
It was a golf course and some alligators and some wild hogs running around. That was it.
My wife's from there.
But now just the development. Your wife's from down there?
Yeah, so we live in that area too.
Okay, great. I know we run across each other a few times.
Yeah.
So, we're excited to be down there, but, we serve all of the Orlando area.
Yep.
So, literally, this year alone, we're in Winter Garden, Windermere, downtown Orlando, Baldwin Park,
Winter Park, obviously, Lake Conway. So we run the gamut as far as from a real estate perspective of where we serve in Orlando area. But Lake Nona is our home, and it's wild everything that's going. We got our own little skyline down there now.
Yeah, there's a Gators dockside being built over
yes,
there.
we've been waiting on that for a while. So.
Seen that sign for about 10 years.
Exactly.
Finally, here we go.
Can't wait.
They're right next to an ale house. That makes sense.
Yes, of course. That's right. Get a little rivalry going down there.
It's just like sports, right?
That's exactly right.
Love it.
That's exactly right.
And speaking of that love of sports, you saw this opportunity to get in not only on this show, which we're grateful for, but also this big matchup coming up Friday night between Winter Park and Boone.
Yeah.
And as a real estate agent, obviously you're familiar with the neighborhoods and this communal rivalry that takes place every year here in Central Florida. Talk about a little bit about that and why you took so much interest in this.
Well,
game.
we talked a little bit about it before the show. Is that these are two blue bloods from Orlando, and the greatest thing about one of the great things about high school is that these kids will see each other later this week or after the game, and so they know each other. And you like to beat your brother up a little bit, and so that's going to be.
Bro and the little bro is this week.
That's right, exactly.
And they get to spend time in Gators Docksides on the off season. They run into each other.
That's exactly.
And they do 7-on-7s and different things, so they meet all the time.
That's exactly right. That you're right. The 7-on-7's big, just like in basketball. We talked about club ball, AAU stuff. They all know each other. They're all close. But you like to beat up on your brother, like we say.
Sure.
And but we got two good teams. It's a good matchup. I know Showalter Field's going to be wild Friday night, and I'm excited to be there and watch it. And there's some good ball. I mean, there's always good football in Orlando area. Sure. I mean, it's a hotbed, so we're honored.
Listen, man, we're so excited to have you on board as a partner and a friend of Varsity Sports Network, and obviously your support of this show and our game this week. And you're going to be there Friday night. We'll have you on air as we do that game live here on the Varsity Sports Network. So, Tommy, thanks so much, man, for all that you do. Again, Tommy Dyer with Keller Williams,
Thank you.
The Dyer team. Thanks, my man.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Happy to be here. No problem.
Listen, we're going to roll right on into some highlights here. And another big game that took place over the weekend, gentlemen, that we had the pleasure of calling West Orange and Apopka over in Winter Garden. And listen, we talked about Apopka earlier, maybe being in that rebuilding year, but West Orange controlled this matchup, and another situation where we were waiting at halftime for adjustments to be made that just never materialized.
No way, man. I'm telling you what, Trevor Jackson was the X factor in this football game, and we talked about it at our show last week. He is a special, dynamic, dual-threat quarterback. With his legs, they had no answer really for it, and he scored both the touchdowns in this football game for West Orange. You're going to see it right here. He's backing up, boom, doesn't like it. He sees in the middle, wide open, right, playing cover 4. Usually, if you get past the line of scrimmage, it's house call because everybody's already playing 8-9 yards to the line of scrimmage, and then you got the outside corners playing man press, and so it's like if you break that line of scrimmage, it's a run-stop defense. So if you break it, it's probably a home run shot, and that's what happened. He scored both times on a cover 4 look. And so,
listen, I can't tell you how many times shoelace tackles by Apopka prevented more touchdowns. He could have
100%.
Easily had 5 or 6.
Yeah, this game, it was a lot closer than it was. West Orange dominated this football game like we called it last week. We all called the upset, and it did happen. Dan LaForce, hopefully you're watching, buddy, because you were talking about Apopka all offseason, and, man, I'm telling you, their defense, their defense is this and that. Well, yeah, their defense might be, and they are only giving up, a couple touchdowns a game, but at the end of the day, they're in 2 dogfights with Ocoee and now lost to West Orange.
Yes.
So, Dan LaForce, we might have to give you opportunity to have a pep talk to these boys and practice one of these days and show them what it was like when you were playing back in Apopka and remind them about those days. But, yeah, West Orange seemed to be the better football team here, and they definitely got away with the win here. And they actually had a shot. Apopka did have a shot at the end there. They got a fumble. There was a fumble recovery that West Orange ended up putting on the ground, and Apopka covered in the fourth quarter. But at the end of the day, West Orange, the better team, won.
Great point. 13-0. You see the score there on the screen. It was close in score. However, we were going to give, Graham McGowan and I had the call, we were going to give the due to the game to the entire offensive and defensive lines for the battle in the trenches that was lopsided, that allowed Trevor Jackson to do his work. It was really impressive how many times West Orange got in the backfield.
Yeah, no doubt.
Period.
That was a great throw, by the way, by the quarterback from Apopka. Again, the only reason why they were in scoring position was from a blocked punt. So if there is no blocked punt, do they even score? Or do they even get close to scoring? Again, I watched this game, and I'm telling you what, West Orange dominated from the first blow to the last.
I'll be the first to tell you, I was surprised.
Yeah, and plus with the delays and stuff, I know it kind of sets the tone a little bit, and usually the home team loves it because they're amped up in their locker room. They hear their crowd. When you're an away team and a couple rain delays, you're just like, man, this is not an environment we're comfortable in. We got to get through the motions. But again, historically, West Orange has struggled with this Apopka team, but as of late, within the last 5 years, it's been a war between these two teams, and there has been an upset win in a 2-point conversion a couple years ago with Tyler Huff, and now this game was outright won by West Orange. But again, the score was 13-6 was your final. It was a lot closer, just like here, right here with 3 minutes left. They're in scoring position, and sure enough, look at the trenches like you just mentioned. I mean, up front, it just had no answer for West Orange and what they were doing up front. And so, again, which is very rare to say with an Apopka team that's known for winning in the trenches, no matter the size. Usually they don't even have the biggest guys on the offensive line, but they're always well-disciplined. But today, or Friday night, it was all Warriors.
The great play right there shows the ability of West Orange putting pressure on the quarterback in the backfield that forced a throw into triple coverage that was just not there. Right? That half a second was a major factor in a bunch of plays in that game.
We know one thing. If you force Apopka to throw, that means they're in trouble. So.
and again, right, you're not used to what the Apopka typically looks like, right? We know the Rick Darlington era, how that's going, and it's kind of gradually getting away from what people are accustomed to. And West Orange is starting to take over that role in that area, if you understand what I mean. And a big shout out to the dude of the game, Trevor Jackson, the quarterback. He a big dude, man. Let me tell you something. He's 20 for 32, 134 yards, 2 touchdowns.
Rushing.
Right.
Yeah.
And he's
smooth,
a big guy. He was
smooth on the ground, man.
And remember, when he did the show with us last week, he talked about his relationship with his center. They've been together since 8U, right? And so that goes to show the chemistry. He trusts them. They trust each other. And then all of that takes place when it comes in there. As well as big shout out to this big-time safety, Jordan Castell, the Florida commit. But I have to go back for a guy. Big shout out to Terrell Walden, the running back from West Orange last year's
team. U, baby.
Goes to the Miami Hurricanes and scores a touchdown for the University of Miami, so he'll be forever in the record books as scoring a touchdown
for the U.
70-13 for the University of Miami versus Bethune.
Big shout out.
Man. Big shout out to Terrell Walden, Central Florida's own.
All right, one more big game taking place in Central Florida. And that was Osceola and Seminole.
Yeah.
And a lot of people had their eyes on this game. Balin, tell us about it, man.
Balin definitely had his eyes on it.
I definitely had it. There's some history.
We're going to give you the floor. Because I know you got a lot to say.
I've been waiting for this moment.
Put the camera on that dude.
But it's so funny because what they don't realize is he also picked Osceola to win this football game. But again, all the attention is always on me. Why? Because they cannot get over the fact that I picked against them in the state title game against the same team, Osceola. So you know what they do? They trash me on Twitter because I picked Osceola to win the upset. Then they put a sign in the beginning of the game. Did you guys see this? Are y'all ready for round 2? I mean, as disrespectful as that is, this is high school, and those guys, I love it, but, they went down 14-0. Here I am. I'm looking at the game. I'm excited because I'm ready to just unleash on Twitter, right?
Yep, dive in.
Just have fun in games. They make it personal for over there, Seminole. I think I live rent-free over there, but that's another conversation. But if whatever they need to use to get them motivated to keep playing, that's great and all. But at the end of the day, it's nothing personal. Seminole's a team I never go against since that state championship game until last Friday against, unfortunately, the same exact team in Osceola.
Sure.
But what a game that was. They had to do a comeback victory there. Osceola had an opportunity to win that football game to kick an extra point with 30 seconds left, and they blocked the extra point. Goes 20-20 in overtime. Obviously, Osceola scores, goes up 27-20, and then Luke Rucker pretty much took over the game with their wide receiver over there. They end up scoring, and they throw the 2-point conversion. Eric Lodge gets the victory 28-27. Now, I want to give a big shout-out to their JV head coach. He literally spent time to make an edit off a video against Jones, who they played a couple years ago, and he literally cropped it into a GIF, right?
Yep.
And made a guess who's wrong again, Balin, or guess who's, whatever the case may be. I think that's a lot of effort, and I actually thought that was pretty cool.
That's
if you're going to
awesome.
take the time to make an edit like that, so be it. They did get the victory. Seminole is the real deal. We never question that. That's why we called it an upset win last week, but I think they forget the upset part. They just think that they're outright going to get beat. But
absolutely.
Again, Osceola is good. The running back is special.
I just want to say this. Balin, you are giving locker room material.
Right? I love it.
They're putting it, I guess not locker room stuff. Everything is a gift now and a meme.
Yeah, exactly.
So now you're giving out social media material
I love it,
to motivate these guys to win ball games, man. So continue doing your good deeds.
Seminole might win state because of it. But, hey.
You got better get a ring, man, buddy.
Exactly right. But, hey, I'm not picking against Seminole anymore, at least until maybe later on. But even then, they're the real deal. And Luke Rucker's the real deal. And they proved it. And they don't even have DJ Lawrence Goldie yet. Mm-hmm. He's not even playing right now. So imagine if he was there. Yeah, Seminoles definitely the real deal. Give props to them again. Yeah. I love it's all fun and games, nothing personal. But if they want to take it that way, that's great. That gets them victories, I guess. Yep. But shout out to the entire coaching staff for giving more exposure on Twitter. Really.
And I was really excited to see those fans come back in after that lightning delay there right before halftime. And that's when we kind of thought that game might swing in Apopka's favor a little bit. But again, I come back to the adjustments that West Orange actually made after Apopka scored to just hold him out. And they didn't give them those extra chances, and their defense was sensational. I was so impressed with the way they played.
Yeah, I just have to say this, man. When you're coaching in Florida, from Central Florida to especially South Florida, early in the season, lightning delays are big, and as coaches, you got to be prepared for that.
Yes.
That's part of your coaching
part of the game.
You got to be able to find ways. How do I keep my guys engaged for 2 hours of nothingness?
Nothing.
Right? How many times can I go over this play on the board? How many times can we do this? We need to stretch. You're trying to just find all type of things. After a while,
physically
you start playing
and mentally.
goose, because you're sitting there for 2 hours. You don't want to, forfeit this game because you got to come back, and you're trying to keep guys. So people underestimate what high school coaches go through here in Florida, but that is a big component to coaching high school football.
Especially also the pressure of playing the game. Last night we had a game of the week, Toho versus Gateway. Guess what? Gets canceled. Why? Lightning and Thunder. So they don't even get to play their game. So they lost literally a whole week of football. Hopefully they're going to reschedule it. But talking to Deso earlier today, I mean, they're frustrated right now. They want to keep playing, and it's week in and week out. Now the second week getting canceled due to Lightning, and they're trying to play a Tuesday night game, and it still gets Thunder and Lightning. So it's tough, man. This is what we get to deal with when you're living in the state of Florida. We are the lightning capital of the world, also the sunshine state. So you get best of both worlds, unfortunately, here. And August seems to be one of those months where you can never really predict. It's right in the middle of hurricane season. But at the end of the day, when they do get to play, like you said, how do you stay motivated through lightning and rain delays? I mean, Celebration and Harmony didn't finish their game till after midnight.
Absolutely.
So, I mean, that's what's happening, right? They didn't even kick off till 9 p.m. So they're trying their best to get these games in. It does cost money to keep the lights on. They start as early as 7:30. So that's 7:30 all the way running till 1 o'clock in the morning with lights. I mean, it does cost money. This is not free. So there's a lot of factors that are involved. But just to end the little score recap, I'm 26-3 right now this season in predictions.
You heard it here first. Say it again. Say it again.
26-3 as of right now. One of those losses was the Seminole game and then Jones.
Pretty good.
But I will tell you, I am usually right, but not when it comes to Seminole, I guess, when they play Osceola. So I just want to throw that out there.
I'm going to just say this. He's going through that. I'm going to say this. I'm the first person to vote. Every high school should have a dome. We don't have to worry about lightning anymore.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hey,
I'm the first guy voting for it. Indoor facilities.
I like it.
Let's go. Make it happen. Start your donations today. CoachHayesFootball.com.
You heard it here first on the Central Florida Huddle. CoachHayesFootball.com.
Love it.
Guys, good segment. Listen, big shout out again to Gators Dockside here in Baldwin Park for all their support. A great atmosphere tonight. We got Winter Park players and coaches coming up right here on our next segment. Also, big shout out to Tommy Dyer with the Dyer team for Keller Williams right here in Central Florida for all your real estate needs. We'll take a break. Back with more right here on the Central Florida Huddle.
We're often asked, what's more important in retirement, having a great plan or working with a great advisor? The answer is that both are vitally important to your retirement success. Retirement planning is not just a one and done. Even the best plans will need to be adjusted. That's exactly why you need an experienced partner to guide you on your journey. How confident are you? Call us today for a second opinion.
For every generation, it has started with the call to serve. Discovering the purpose and the belonging earned with the title. Learning to dig deep and push through adversity together. Defending our nation and its people. It is a life of great worth and reward. But Marines are never really finished serving. Their commitment comes full circle, visible in communities across our country. This is Semper Fidelis. Always faithful, always Marine, marking a path for the next generation.
Marijuana can impair your ability to drive, and that affects much more than just you. Drive baked, get busted.
Hi, I'm Kevin Harrington, an original shark from Shark Tank. Protect your ankles with Prevent Sprain socks.
In sports, we wear all types of equipment to protect ourselves from injury. We use helmets, mouth guards, shoulder pads, chest protectors, and knee, elbow, and shin pads for protection and prevention. One of the most important, yet neglected parts of the body are the ankles.
Research shows that more than 30% of all sports injuries are ankle-related, and 62% of all ankle sprains happen during practice and training. Just think about it. Very few sports can be played with an ankle injury, and it can take 1 to 3 weeks to heal, sometimes months to get back to full strength and mobility. Preventing an injury is key in any sport and applies to any job where you're on your feet all day as well.
Prevent Sprain socks were scientifically designed and engineered for support, stability, and performance.
Stay active with PreventSprainSocks.com.
Are you in the market for the finest athletic apparel available? Check out theimperialpoint.com. Fully sublimated designs, top quality, made in the USA apparel for any team and any fan. Check them out today at theimperialpoint.com or give them a call at 800-801-4884. Imperial Point Apparel, made in the USA. Welcome back in here live to the Central Florida Huddle exclusively on the Varsity Sports Network. I'm BA. That's the coach Kyle Hayes along with Balin Trujillo. And lo and behold, we got some Winter Park Wildcats standing behind us. And guys, I got to tell you, I got a soft spot. We moved here a year ago. We live in Winter Park. My son will at least start his career at Winter Park if all things hold. So welcome, guys. Thanks for coming out and hanging out with us. We are joined by Kit Hill, co-offensive coordinator. And Coach, first of all, thanks for bringing the guys out. I know you're going to introduce them to us here in a minute, but a lot going on during the week. But, you know, this is big for your guys to come out and get a little exposure for a big-time game.
Oh, absolutely, and we can't thank you enough for having us out this evening. You know, end of the day, it's about the kids and what they go out there and they do every day in the classroom and on football field. You know, especially this week with extraordinarily hot temperatures. I think this has been the hottest week we've had all year, even going back to the fall camp when we first started. But, you know, the kids have done a great job this week. They pushed through and coming off the heels of a nice road trip last week and moving on ahead into getting ready to play a very talented Boone Brave team and get ready and see where the chips fall.
My next question, and I'll let these guys take a shot. But, you know, how do you go about personally? Every coach has their own philosophies on how you keep those guys mentally in the right headspace when it comes to a rivalry game. Forget records, forget all that stuff. These guys meet up in the community, at the gas station, at the restaurant. You know what I mean? So it holds a different weight.
Right. You know, our biggest thing is Coach Shiflett, our head coach. He does a great job with just week-by-week preparation. Every Monday we have this compete segment and we do this. We're very structured from the time we walk in Monday until we kick off Friday. So it's very regimented, it's very structured. You know, we try not to let those outside interferers of it being a rivalry game, it being Boone. Try not to keep those things from jumping in on us and just try to stay focused on what we do and what we do best.
Absolutely. Guys?
Yeah, real quick, man, I just want to say it is a rivalry. Like I said, I've coached here in Central Florida. I know what that rivalry is all about. I'm going to start this off. I know we got one of our DBs back here in the corner. I know Coach will introduce them in a quick second. But I know that Boone has this wide receiver I've been hearing a lot about. I think he's a Florida commit. Who's responsible for this guy? Who's going to take care of this cat? Talk to me about it, man.
He smiled as soon as you said that.
We talk about it all the time, but, I mean, it's just like another game to me, so I'm just go out there and give everything I got every play. So
that's what I'm talking about, man. I love it. And this is, like I said, it's all love. It's all fun. You know what I mean? And that's what it's all about in that situation.
He realizes if he puts a good performance against a guy like that can change his life.
Boost me, baby.
And it's on TV, so people are going to watch this game. So he took the challenge. Coaches are believing in him. The kid runs a freaking 4.3 40, right? But he might not be more physical than him. And I think that can throw a lot of people off. So
I always tell you, baby, lay the lumber, baby.
That's
We all
right.
even when we're laying down. You understand me? So
Right.
do what you got to do, man. The
Of
challenge
course.
accepted. When I didn't even mention his name. I just kind of hinted at
Aiden
it.
Mizell, I'll even say it.
Yeah,
right
you
there.
started
There you go.
smiling. So I'm waiting for that challenge. I'm definitely going to be checking you guys out, man.
Yeah, speaking of, Coach, can you introduce the players real quick?
Yeah, absolutely. Over here to my left, we have Aiden Warner, our quarterback. Torian Roberts, wide receiver and safety. We got Hudson Gibbs, hybrid linebacker type. We've got TJ Shiflett, one of our slot receivers. And back here in the back, we've got Watson Hewitt, our starting left tackle.
Guys, you heard him. He said
So,
left
you know,
tackle, the most important position on the field.
And the beautiful thing about this group of guys I've got here is that they do a great job on the field, but here's what's really going to blow your mind. This kid committed to Yale University.
Awesome.
This one committed to Princeton.
Oh, yeah. I forgot.
This one's going to MIT.
What?
This one committed to UCF.
Wow.
And this one's still, and TJ's still trying to decide on two very high academic schools in upstate New York.
Wow.
His daddy and the Shiflett family are from upstate New York, Buffalo to be exact.
Wow.
Shiflett would get mad if I didn't give Buffalo a shout out, so there it is. But he's looking at going back upstate New York and still weighing up some options at some very high academic schools up there. So, you know, our kids get it done on the field, and more importantly, they get it done in the classroom.
Well, they're called student athletes.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Now, I definitely want to talk about that kid that you mentioned, committed to Yale. It's a kid that I've been pleasure to work with for the last 6 years. I feel like I've seen him literally grow up, and I'm talking like grow up. And I'm telling you, man, this kid is special. He has all the tools. I actually broke down top 10 quarterbacks in the state earlier this week with USA Today, and Aiden Warner was on that list. And, you know, it's just so awesome to see his development. You know, last year playing, you know, candidly with, you know, Jaden Machulis out there. But now it's his team. It's his football team. Last week was his birthday. We talked about teams on the road, right? He put a performance that we're going to probably talk about a little later, special on his birthday. Lit it up. Beat a team that supposedly was a powerhouse in Georgia, and they made them guys look like little dogs, right? So, and we're talking about the Wildcats right now. So it's definitely fun to see. But Aiden, I want to ask you a question, man.
Yes, sir.
How is your senior year going? What are you looking forward to throughout this process? And what are some of the moments that you love being as a Wildcat?
It's going really well. I think us as a team, we've been closer than we've ever been. All these guys, we have a huge senior class, so a bunch of guys that I've grown up with, played on the team with for 4 years. So, I mean, it's been super exciting. Got the opportunity to go to Georgia last week. I mean, stood out, lights out. I mean, we played really well. I'm just excited to play with my guys.
Yeah, talk about your commitment to Yale. What was in that factor for you committing to? You had offers from big-time programs, and you decided to go the Yale route. I know you called me the day you committed and kind of run me down a little bit about that. But, like, why did you choose Yale, and what about that program really excites you moving forward?
Well, the education was obviously something huge for me. It was definitely a big deal to get an opportunity to go to somewhere like Yale and get to play Division I football at the same time, and I feel like it was just an opportunity I couldn't pass up.
And talk about this matchup. This last question for you from me with Boone. I know historically this is a rivalry game. I feel like both communities are very identical. You get the Boone community who brings and travels a lot. You know, I played with them for 3 years when I was in high school, and I know what they do when they travel. And then you got Winter Park, who means all business when it comes to football, at least. And so what is that rivalry going to be like for you Friday night? This potentially is the last time you'll ever get to play Boone in this type of rivalry at home. What are you looking forward to the most this Friday night against Boone High School?
It's definitely going to be a challenge, but I mean, with my guys, especially our O-line, coming out 0 sacks against Lake Nona, only 2 against that D-line that Georgia had with 2 4-stars. So, I mean, I got confidence in us. They're a really good team, but I think we got it.
Awesome, man. And then my last question is going to go to Torian Roberts. Okay, this kid right here, I remember watching him at Lake Howell. Okay, my cousin Cohen was the quarterback at Lake Howell, and he played for him. And I was wondering, no disrespect to Lake Howell, why he was even playing there. The kid was special, and I'm like, wow, this is like a diamond. And I'm like, this kid could be playing on the big stage, and yet Lake Howell doesn't throw the ball at all, and he was playing offense at the time. And so now I'm excited to see him at Winter Park. Obviously, just committed to Princeton. That's huge, right? That's another Ivy League program, Division I. Torian, what was that decision like in committing to a team like Princeton and being in the Ivy League, and I'm probably going to be facing Aiden later on in your career.
So that was the main thing, like he said, the education. It was just like the biggest thing. It was like I was really thinking about life too, like after football and stuff like that. So it was all big, like one decision. I talked to my parents about it, pros and cons, because at the end of the day, like I always thought about like playing football for free and stuff like that. But then getting an opportunity to just go to Princeton, maybe like stuff after football, like it was just going to be
six figures.
Yes, sir. Of course. Yeah, that was a big conversation I had with my mom.
That's amazing.
It is amazing.
And then we obviously got the UCF commit. I saw that on Twitter recently. You know, UCF made a lot of noise last Thursday. I was there to watch the game. John Rice Plumlee, shout out to you. Talk about your commitment. I know that's big time. I know your dad is a coach on the staff there. Talk about your commitment to UCF. What are you looking forward to as becoming a Knight? And then obviously this rivalry game going into Boone High School on Friday.
You know, committing there is just to further my football knowledge. I want to be a coach. I want to follow my father, my grandfather.
Nice.
And that's the staff I want to be a part of. I had other offers, like everywhere else I could have gone.
Right.
But I wanted to stay home. I want to learn from my dad. A lot of kids got to be coached by their dad growing up. I never had that.
That's crazy.
So I get to do that now, and I get to win. I get to walk on, earn my scholarship, something I wanted to do.
I'm excited for you, man. Congratulations, by the way.
Thank you.
Go Bulls, though, but yeah, congratulations.
We got one more. MIT.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah,
I was going right now.
MIT.
And then I got one question.
He's got a movie, his whole movie,
TJ.
20. If you haven't seen the movie 21, go watch it. MIT's pretty smart. They know how to use that to their
MIT,
advantage.
right? I want to talk about, people talk about these things, but why MIT? And when you get there, what are you studying?
Well, I chose MIT since really when I went to the campus there, it really feels like they're making science fiction into reality. And the degree they have there is unique only to MIT. It has computer science, data science, and economics, and they're all ranked #1 for all of those. And I later want to go into like Wall Street and later become a hedge fund manager. I feel like MIT really has that to offer.
We talked about 6 figures. This dude's going for 7, man.
7-figure, maybe breaking the bank.
Don't forget about us.
Hey,
You've got to be smart playing left tackle. That's
So tell me, have you seen the bull in New York? Have you seen
5.0
the big
GPA.
The big bull statue in New York on Wall Street? That's where you go, baby. Don't be the wolf of Wall Street.
As smart as you are, you might start football over there.
Yeah.
That'd be crazy.
I love it, man.
Real quick, TJ, you know, you're in a unique situation as well.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Talk about that dynamic with your dad and how that's evolved.
At first it was rough, but as soon as I was like, I proved myself and I was ready to go, you know, that's how it
just kind of worked.
Yeah, it just kind of worked.
And obviously you've got the support of all your teammates, and it's been successful. Right?
Yeah, of course, yeah.
It couldn't ask for more. Guys, listen, we want to thank you again so much for coming out and hanging out with us. Not only are you impressive on the football field, but when you start spouting out, Yale, Princeton, MIT, UCF, and,
obviously supporting Miami, so that's a big time education.
That's just the wristbands.
And then Coach Kitts, thank you, or Coach Hill, thank you so much for bringing these guys out. We love it, man. It's awesome. Good luck to you this week. Good luck.
No doubt.
All right, we'll take a break. Back to close things out, give you some predictions and some scores right here on the Central Florida Huddle.
Searching for meaning in a relentless world, always connected, but somehow alone, trapped by illusion. We offer another path, where the battle to belong begins. Awakened by a calling, united by the cause you fight for. No one can take away what it means to be among the few, the proud, the Marines.
In sports, we wear all types of equipment to protect ourselves from injury. One of the most important, yet neglected parts of the body are the ankles.
Research shows that more than 30% of all sports injuries are ankle-related. Preventing an injury is key in any sport and applies to any job where you're on your feet all day as well.
Prevent Sprain socks were scientifically designed and engineered for support, stability, and performance.
Stay active with PreventSprainSocks.com.
Market for the finest athletic apparel available? Check out theimperialpoint.com. Fully sublimated designs, top quality, made in the USA apparel for any team and any fan. Check them out today at theimperialpoint.com or give them a call at 800-801-4884. Imperial Point Apparel, made in the USA.
Marijuana can impair your ability to drive, and that affects much more than just you. Drive baked, get busted.
And welcome back in once again to the Varsity Sports Network right here at Gators Dockside in Baldwin Park. We thank them so much for their support of high school academics and athletics. Just an awesome atmosphere here tonight for this live show. And also want to thank Tommy Dyer with Keller Williams, the Dyer team, and their support of not only our show, but also the game Friday night between Winter Park and Boone. I'm B.A. That's Coach Kyle Hayes and Balin Trujillo. And now, Balin, give us some scores from last week that we didn't have highlights on that people need to know about.
Yeah, so we're going to talk about the private school rankings, our top 5 from last week. Things could have changed drastically this week, but number 5, Mount Dora Christian loses to CFCA 34-7 in a blowout fashion. Number 4, OCP does play IMG White team. They do lose 49-20. Number 2 ranked Holy Trinity. This was the craziest stat of, I think, of our private school rankings. They lose 50-14 to Bayside, and I didn't think Bayside was that impressive from what we covered, so that was that. And then number 1, Lake Highland Prep took care of business against number 3, Foundation, 43-7 in a mollywop, kind of set the tone of where Foundation really is in our rankings. Now moving forward to our top 10 teams, number 9, Lake Mary beats Spruce Creek 19-0, blankets them. Shout out to Noah Grubbs, the freshman quarterback sensation. He comes in his first pass, 70-yard touchdown to help win that game. Number 8, Winter Park, 31, New Gwinnett. We just talked about that from Georgia. Blew them out, and it was a lot larger than the score, 31-19. We have number 6, Rockledge, beating Doral Academy, their second victory over Miami School, 45-7. Another mollywop over there for Rockledge. Number 2, Edgewater at home, beats a team from New Jersey, Don Bosco Prep. We just talked about it a little earlier, 34-10. Number 1, Seminole takes care of business in overtime against number 4, Osceola, 28-27. And then the final game, number 7, Apopka, 6, and West Orange, 13. Those were the finals of last week's games, which goes right into our rankings, right, B.A.?
Absolutely, man. You got them ready, so let's announce our official Week 3 rankings.
Yeah, our top rankings. We're going to start with the private school rankings. Number 5, Mount Dora Christian. Yes, that lopsided loss to CFCA, but they're still a real deal program. Number 4, Faith Christian. Number 3, the First Academy, making its first appearance along with Faith Christian. We're going to be actually watching that game closely with Faith Christian against Lake Howell this week. Number 2, CFCA, our game of the week on Thursday. We're going to cover that just here shortly and do predictions. And then number 1, Lake Highland Prep. Until they get beat, they remain as defending state champs at number 1. For our top 10 rankings, number 10, nothing changes here. Mainland High School. Number 9, Lake Mary has a good one this week against Oviedo. That could shake some things up if they somehow get upsetted. Number 8, moving into the Apopka spot. That beat Apopka, West Orange, moving up 3 spots into our rankings. Number 7, 0-1 Cocoa. Yes, they have their one lopsided loss to Jones, but they are still ranked. Got American Heritage this week. It's going to be a big-time game. They're number 7. Number 6 is Rockledge, moving up a spot, kind of switching it with Cocoa. Number 5, Winter Park, moves up 3 spots with their big win in Georgia. That, again, we can't speak nothing but high praises for the Winter Park Wildcats. They get another opportunity to prove themselves this week against Boone in a rivalry game. Number 4, Osceola doesn't move anywhere. They do have a 1-point loss to our number 1 ranked team, so that doesn't get you down in the rankings. If not, it gives you more credit. Number 3, Jones. They lose to the number 15 team in the country. They don't move anywhere at number 3 at 1-1. Number 2, Edgewater. That's the debate, right? Who's number 1? Who's number 2? Until Seminole gets beat, I think they remain at number 1. So we got number 2, Eagles, and number 1, Seminole.
Yeah, no surprises for me.
And real quick, we all know Jones has a bye this week, but they will be playing Edgewater soon.
Yes.
And that will be a deciding game.
Not wait for that
and
matchup.
you're going to definitely see some shuffling right here amongst the rankings when it comes to that game.
Especially if the score's lopsided either way.
Here's the best thing about it. Love the matchup, not just because of the names, but because of the players.
Absolutely.
You got number 4
Man.
and Mr. C.J. Baxter at running back.
Yes, sir.
Who's going to meet him in the hole? Number 0.
Malik.
Mr. who? Malik Bryant. So
Committed
we're going
to.
to see who the real deal is, baby.
You, baby.
Can the Tiger hang with the Eagles, or can the Eagles hang with the
That's going to be a great
I can't
conversation
wait.
for next week.
Yep.
For
All right,
sure.
let's go through the games upcoming here on this week's schedule, along with the games of the week that we will have right here on the Varsity Sports Network, and we can throw some predictions out their way to see what happens as we go through those games. First up, number 2, Central Florida Christian, New Smyrna Beach.
Yes, that's our game of the week for tomorrow. I'm going to start here.
Yep.
I trained Jacob Kanya. He is the quarterback there at CFCA. Was there as a sophomore, transfer from South Lake. Now he's going into his junior year. He's lighting it up.
Yep.
Honestly, they probably have the best offense. I mean, Lake Highland Prep is really solid on offense with the things that they have in place. But when it talks about consistently just effective offensive efficiency, you got to watch CFCA play.
Yeah,
And what
yeah.
they did last week to Mount Dora Christian, completely annihilating those guys, 34-7.
Yeah.
They are the real deal, which is why they moved all the way up to number 2 in our private school rankings. I think Jacob lights it up in the air again against New Smyrna, who's really not proven.
Sure.
This is a public first private school, so technically they should win. But when it comes to private schools, as we
never
know,
know.
Coach Hayes, we like to bring those boys in. And
Come on
I think
in,
they do take
baby.
care of business tomorrow night. So you're going to watch Jacob Kanya. Also, shout out to Coach Campbell out there, the head coach. Love that guy to death. I partner with CFCA with my camp, so I'll never go against the guys that I'm teamed up with, that's for sure.
I'm going with CFCA, man. Enough
Yep,
said. I
there
like
it
what
is.
they have going on. Like with the coach, the big shot to Coach Lodi. He's done a lot of things over there at CFCA. Do a lot of training camps and so forth. I'm going with CFCA in this one as well.
All right, let's blaze through these. Got about 2 minutes before we close things out here and go to the Florida Gridiron Report. Number 10, Mainland, Bartram Trail, both teams 2-0.
Bartram Trail has a quarterback. That's my last name, Riley Trujillo's 3-star quarterback. You're going to want to watch him. Mainland also has a great quarterback in DeMarcus Creasy. I'm going with Mainland here. We got to stay Central Florida. Number 10 beats Bartram Trail.
Definitely, man. I got to go with Mainland in this one. Bartram Trail may have your namesake, but I don't know if
Special
they have your
quarterback.
arm's sake, huh? If that makes
That
sense.
kid's got 30
I love it,
offers.
man.
Next up, number
I love
9, another battle of unbeaten. Lake Mary comes in at 2-0, facing Oviedo at 2-0.
I like Lake Mary in this one. I'm just going straight up. I like Lake Mary in this one over Oviedo. We saw them play, but I think Lake Mary has too much firepower in what they have to say.
Oviedo, Coach O, has an explosive offense. They had 2 really good, tough-fought wins. Obviously, last week was a blowout. Lake Mary is showing really impressive stuff on offense. I'm going Lake Mary here, number 9. They take care of business and kind of prove themselves again week 3.
Yeah, some very interesting matchups. Now we move on to Cocoa, number 7, 0-1, taking on St. Thomas Aquinas at 2-0, a big test there for the Cocoa Tigers.
I'll start off with it. All right, we talk about Miami teams. This is really a Fort Lauderdale team, a South Florida team, of St. Thomas. I just know that they have too much firepower. Coach Roger Harriet down there has done a great job building that up. Even though they lost with their defensive coordinator, Jensen Taylor, who's now at the University of Miami, they still have too much firepower for Cocoa in this one. St. Thomas walks away with an easy win.
I'm agreeing with Coach Hayes on this one. St. Thomas takes care of business. Cocoa's a great team. Blake Bowe's going to do some good things in the air, but it's got to be St. Thomas.
Also have Rockledge, Vieira, Edgewater, West Orange, a big matchup. But let's now get our prediction real quick before we close things out for our big game of the week, Winter Park Boone, right here on the Varsity Sports Network.
I'll let you go first.
Hey, we just talked about those guys. Winter Park is loaded offensively and defensively. They just went up to Georgia, beat them. I love Aiden Warner in this and Torian Roberts and all those guys. I'm going with the Winter Park Wildcats. They're going to beat Boone High School in a blowout fashion. It's not going to even be close. I think they win by 21+. I love the Wildcats in this matchup. I'm calling it right here.
There we go.
It's going to be a great time here in Winter Park.
Listen, how can I go against the guys with the brain power?
That's true.
How can I go against those guys? Let me tell you something. This is going to be the Winter Park Brainstormers.
Yep.
And guess what? I'm going with those guys right there. We got MIT, we got Princeton, we got Yale. Hey, we got winners.
There we go.
I
Also,
definitely want to say one thing, though. There's one game I'm looking forward to the most. We're going to close it out with this, Edgewater, West Orange.
Yeah.
Edgewater, Coach Duke has those guys rolling, Cedric Baxter. West Orange has a lot of hype going on with just beating a pop, but I like the Eagles in this matchup. I think they're just too powerful.
Also a big game on the Daytona Channel, Treasure Coast and Seminole. And that'll wrap up our show here, week
Seminole
3 on the
blowout.
Central Florida Huddle. Big thanks to Gators Dockside right here in Baldwin Park. Thanks to our crew, Dan, Ivan, and Dee, for all the hard work they do. I'm B.A. That's Coach Kyle Hayes, Balin Trujillo. We'll see you next week right here on the Central Florida Huddle, exclusively on the Varsity Sports Network. Bam.